I can't remember who it was. A player asked for the maximum amount of smoke you can give someone, and then whine that it's too smoky. Just whine that it's too smoky. So Dillon Brooks, oh, I poke bears. He's too old. I wish I could have played Miami or Cleveland LeBron. That would have been a much harder challenge. Then he went out there and looked like he shit his pants and wet himself when LeBron talked to him pregame. That was not confidence looking back at LeBron. LeBron always covers his mouth, always hides conversations, and he made sure everyone saw that shit. And even talked about after the game. Was like, I like it that way. It's like, no, I've seen you cover your mouth on almost every conversation you've ever had when it's not on a basketball court. And LeBron wanted everyone to see it. And then Dillon Brooks put up 13 shots in 19 minutes. Was three of 13 for 7 points, and only played 19 minutes because he claims a basketball play is trying to do a cup check with the back of your wrist, back of your hand. That's a basketball play of try. That's how we all steal the basketball, right? Is you throw the back of your wrist at it. And so he gets ejected for intentionally hitting LeBron in the nuts, and then wouldn't talk post game after the Grizzlies mostly got their asses handed to them. Although Ja Morant did have a really incredible second half, man. He was so good in the fourth quarter. Like he was unbelievable, and he made it respectable. But then Dillon Brooks declined, and then the next day he did talk to media. So good on him for talking to media. Except he blamed the media and the fans for being negative. Thought that that's the reason he got the flagrant two. Notoriously, referees give a shit what we think, and that's how they officiate a game. And just a move of cowardice, a lack of accountability, no toughness. I just don't look, I wrote this in the bounce, right? Where he blamed us. And I said, I don't blame I don't like to speak to the fans or media members in general, but we're not the reason you hit LeBron in the testicles. We're not the reason you hit Donovan Mitchell in the testicles. We're not the reason you committed a dirty play on Gary Payton II in the playoffs last year. We're not the reason that you knocked over that cameraman, then acted like a dick. And we're not the reason that you're kind of at the end of your rope here when it comes to any kind of credibility, any kind of toughness, any kind of favoritism, even in your own locker room. So, Jay, how's your boy doing? How's Dillon Brooks looking these days?
It has been a
tough week,
tough weekend, tough year. I have been.
Who do you blame more, the media or the fans?
I have been the lone Dillon Brooks supporter.
No, you're the super fan. You're not even a supporter. You're a super fan. I'm pretty sure if we pan the camera, there's a poster.
And here's what's happened with Dillon Brooks. He has leaned into this character so much that he is now a caricature of himself, and he is just maximizing everything that is wrong with him. he is so delusional about who he is as a player. He is so to say that the media made him a villain. This guy shows up to games without a shirt on. He talks absolutely reckless about every single opponent. He gets an ESPN story about him and just takes a shot at Draymond Green for no reason at all, and then has the balls, which he would hit if they were someone else, to say that it's the media that's made him a villain. He wanted to be this villain. He wanted to be the guy that everyone hates, and now everyone hates him, and he can't take it.
It's a free agent this summer, by the way.
And so I honestly think he's lost himself, because there is a thin line when you play the game the way he does, and you're an agitator like he is, and you have limited offensive game like he does, where every shot you take can be a detriment to your team. And he won't stop shooting. He won't stop doing things that will harm his team. I will say the one thing I think he caught flack for that he shouldn't have was refusing to do media the night of the game, because we just saw it with Draymond Green. He spoke and didn't give any apology, and they held that against him. The league did when suspending him. So if you're Dillon Brooks, you're still pissed off. I understand
you don't learn from that,
not wanting to risk that.
No, I'm not giving him a pass on that. I'm not giving him a pass on that.
You won't give him a pass on anything.
No, you're goddamn right, because he doesn't even know how to pass the ball when he gets it. So I think that's an important aspect of it. But like, listen, you take that shot, you talked all this shit leading up to this game. Your name was everywhere, all of those things. You got to
gave up like 11 of the first 20 points. Like,
you got to go talk to the media after the game. I don't care. Be measured in your words. Be short.
He's not really a measured guy.
Well, he's not very a words guy, to be honest with you. Have you heard him talk? Like, that's kind of the issue. Measured. But like, one word answers, short, whatever, but show up. And don't put that on your teammates to have to answer that stuff for you. And I think that's an important aspect. We're going to give Randall shit. We got to give him shit on this stuff.
I think that's a good point, Mo. Like, that's the thing, is like, you don't force your teammates to have to answer for that shit, right? Like, that's stuff that you completely brought on the series and the situation. Like, you want to do that, and then now Ja's got to answer it. Now Desmond's got to answer it, and like, they can be like, I don't want to talk about that, but still, like, that's going to come. And it's not just like you avoiding it; it's you avoiding it, and now your teammates have to answer for
it.
Yeah. Honestly, like Dillon Brooks is obviously the headline here, and he's part of the Grizzlies' problem, which is that once they get into the half court, they just don't have a lot of answers. And there's so much you watch these games, and there's so much the Lakers are willing to give up. Like, they're okay with Dillon Brooks launching a three. They're okay with Ja Morant shooting jumpers. They're okay with so much that the Grizzlies get to. And right now, honestly, the Grizzlies have no better options than Dillon Brooks. And that's part of the problem, is that
I played Tyus and Ja together. I know that's a nightmare defensively in terms of like size.
Or with Adams out and the size that you're already
I play Luke Kennard. Like, you gotta have some positive there in that. Look, Luke is food on defense, but he's someone you cannot leave. Like, you at least have a great shooter out there, and a guy who can play make if it's Luke Kennard. Like, to say they don't have better options, I don't agree. I just think I think that they can change the way they look. I mean, you play Tyus and Ja together, like, you give up a lot of size, but like, Tyus makes nothing but smart decisions constantly.
That's Dillon Brooks too, right?